Alright, this is my follow-up video for the Super Console X2 Pro video that I did just about a month ago, and this is the finalized product. I've connected it to my Arcade1Up machine. There are how-to videos on YouTube that you can find that'll show you how to do this, but basically you're going to switch out a piece on the back of your Arcade1Up machine to add in an HDMI connection. Once you have the HDMI connection, you're plugging that right in to the monitor. So that's what's playing here is the Super Console X2 Pro. And it's running basically everything there. Now, you will have to change out the buttons on your Arcade1Up machine so that it'll plug into a USB controller. So there's a whole how-to video on how to do that, but you can see this is the finalized version for me. So I have player 1, player 2, two dedicated hotkey buttons, start and select down here. And this is just a preview game that's playing while it's in screensaver mode. And so I wanted to show y'all some tips and tricks on how to work this thing once you have it set up. And so the first thing is that once you have your games that are favorited, you can just access it by going to all games, and it doesn't matter what console it is. If you've marked it as favorited, it'll basically just put it right to the top. You don't have to switch from console to console. One thing you will notice is that some games will play a video while others are not playing a video. So what's going on with that? Well, the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you're connected to Wi-Fi. So here is the Wi-Fi indicator. And what you're going to do here is you're just going to push start on your controller and you're going to go to network settings. So right there, it's as easy as that, connect to your Wi-Fi. The next thing you're going to do is, I wanted to show you, is connecting your controllers. So when you go here and you want to connect your controller, you're going to pick this setting here. Now, I already have both of my controllers configured, but let's say you wanted to pair a Bluetooth device. You're going to do it there. You will need to have the dongle that connects into your controller, so that way it can detect the Bluetooth controller. So right now I don't have any Bluetooth controllers connected to it, but you can access it here if you need to. You can also remap your controllers if you want to get into the specifics of a particular way of playing. You can configure all of that there. Now, I was going into a little bit of a tangent there because what I was showing you is how to make the video play. So now that we're connected to Wi-Fi, you have your controllers connected. What you're going to do then is if you look down here, it says launch and then game options hold. So we're going to push this button here that corresponds with that one. So we're going to hold it. And this menu is going to pop up right here. We're going to go to advanced, or we're not going to go to advanced options. We're going to go to scrape. And what we're doing is we're scraping data. And once you've done that, I have it set up just to search for the video, but you can search for anything really, any of the information that comes with it. But I just have it looking for video, and there's a setting you can mess with to just do that. So now that you've done that, now anytime you highlight over here, you can have a video playing in the background. Now, one thing is, and I find it annoying, other people may find it useful, but if you go over to sound settings, you can configure it so that way it plays the game, plays the audio when in a game, so, or when it shows you the preview. So I don't have it that way. I really hate it when you're switching from game to game and it's just like making different noises. I like to have it silent, and actually when I'm not playing a game and I'm scrolling through my games, I actually have some MP3 files saved on there. So normally it's playing music that I like in the background, and I have that turned off right now because I don't want to get demonetized for licensed music. And so the other thing I wanted to show you is what happens if the game doesn't work. And so let's go over here to all games. We're going to go to search. So we want to hold this button down. Oh, wrong button. I did random. There we go, search. And someone on my channel had asked me, does this play Robotron? And I think it does, but we're going to find out in real time here. And one thing you're going to find out is that when you find a game like Robotron, there's going to be hundreds of different versions. I like to focus on two different versions. Either it's going to be the MAME, or the MAME, M-A-M-E version, or it's going to be the FBN, Final Burn Neo version. So here is the one I'm going to try to launch. I actually downloaded the video here, and I believe the aspect ratio on here is 4:3. So the older video games usually have a vertical screen, and what you're going to want to do again is hold the button to get this menu. You want to go to Advanced Game Options, and you're going to switch the aspect ratio to 4:3. That's going to be like your Galaga and your Pac-Man, and I believe Robotron. We'll find out in just a second. And now when you launch the game, you're going to get this screen, and this is typically a scary thing to see. So this screen right here basically says that the ROM did not load, a red screen of death. So we're going to use the hotkey and the start button to get out of here. Just hit it twice. And that was my music launching. So I guess when I backed out of the game, it forgot that I had that turned off. So hopefully I don't get demonetized for that. If you know what song that was, leave it in the comments, but I doubt anyone will get it. And so as you saw, we had the red screen of death. So what we're going to do here now is we are going to go to advanced game options. And this may work, this may not work, but as you can see here under emulator, it was defaulted to auto. And as you would think, auto should work, but it doesn't work sometimes. And so we know this is an FBN game, so we're going to switch this to this one here. We're going to select it, and now we're going to try to launch it. And there we go. Looks like we got a screen. I think the aspect ratio was good. So this is typical of what you would see normally when you boot up the arcade cabinet. So that screen that you had in the beginning is typically what you're going to find. And so we're waiting for the game to boot up. I've never played Robotron, so we're going to see how this works here. I'm seeing if I need to push anything. So far, nothing I need to push yet. Okay, factory settings restored. All right. You might get issues like this. I'm troubleshooting this in real time. No idea. I'm going to pause the video for a second, see if I can figure this out. So this is basically trial and error for me. I basically exited out, tried a different emulator. It was also called FBN, but it had a C after it. And then as we can see, it looks like it's working now. It's trial and error with some of these games. It does give you a ton of emulators to try. So if the game doesn't launch under auto, which sometimes it will launch it under auto, if it doesn't launch it under auto, you can try switching the emulators like I did, and I'll show you the emulator that I use for this game. Now to start, you're usually going to put select. That's going to give you credits to play, so I'm just adding a bunch of credits. We're going to hear the music, and I've never played this before. Okay, so I don't know how you're supposed to shoot, or can you shoot, or what are you supposed to do here? Okay, I feel like this game is supposed to have some kind of shoot function. Let's see. Are you just supposed to run away? I mean, that seems pretty easy. This guy looks pretty nice. Oh, okay, you save him. Okay, I don't know that you shoot in this game. That's interesting. So I want to show you first. And I have to turn off the sound here. So I have a button that it basically turns off the speakers the manual way. So see, this guy's shooting. So I don't know why my guy's not shooting. It might be a control. So some of these older games, like I believe this one here has 2 direction pads. And my configuration only has 1 per player. And so if you're playing on an analog controller like this, you might have this one to move and then this one to shoot. And since I only have 1 joystick, I can't truly play this game, but you're probably not going to use this setup to play this game, and I'm not too worried about it, to tell you the truth. What I wanted to show you is when you go here to Advanced Game Options, this is the emulator that I picked. So originally it was under auto, then I switched it here, got caught in a loading screen, then I moved it here and it worked perfectly. I believe the issue is with the controller. The other thing I wanted to show you is that if you leave this on auto, the aspect ratio is going to default to widescreen. And so I'm just going to boot it up again just to show you what that looks like If you feel like the picture is off, maybe that's the issue. So you see how the dot matrix goes all the way from the left all the way to the right of the screen, and it's just going to be wider. It's going to be a wider screen. And so let's start it up. And so this, I know for a fact that this is stretched out. It may not bother you. You may want to play with the screen stretched out that way. But the other thing is I turned off bevels. So when you have it as a 4:3, you can have it so it has a picture of Robotron on the left and the right. But I decided to remove the bevels because most of my games don't. They will fit in the normal picture that this monitor has, and I don't need to dedicate any space to the bevels. And so those are just some tips and tricks that I've learned from this. The other thing is that you can minimize consoles that you're not going to play, and then also your favorites are always going to be listed here. And so you can see I have a list of games that I like playing on here or that I was testing out. And so I haven't really gone through and played a bunch of the games, but you can see them here. I do love a large collection of these games. They're a lot of fun. I'm a sucker for these airplane shooter games, so I'll boot one up real quick, show you that it works. And what I like to do is just scrape the video of any game I play, so that way I know I've played it before. There is a file that you can have, and it'll just show you games that you've never played before. Let's see, it's having a hard time finding the video for this one. Okay, well, we won't worry about that. Oh, well, it's because it says bootleg. Okay, let's try this. First version. That one should find it. There we go. Yeah, but I'm a sucker for these shooter games, these vertical screen shooter games. It's downloading the video now. Come on. It's taking a long time to download. Must be in HD. Okay, well, while that's working, go to Advanced Game Options. These vertical games like that are going to be in 4:3. So and I'm doing this with one hand, just so you know. 4:3, and we're going to test the emulator just to see if the default emulator loads this up. Most of the time, you're not going to have issues loading the game up with auto, just so you know. So as you can see, the game booted up just nicely. We're going to give ourselves some credits. Start the game. And if you have 2 players, just push start over here. Well, I don't think this is a 2-player game. Oh. Okay, well, trying to play with one hand here. Good thing is, oh, come on, one hand. Get him, get him, get him. Oh, it's so hard to play with one hand because it's hard to hold the shoot button down. But you can see the shooter game works. And so we're going to go ahead and exit out of this. If you have any other questions or want to see other games in action, be sure to leave me a comment. Yeah.